Hey everybody, we made it to day 2. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live at 4:45. My name is Tisha, if we haven't officially met, but great to have you here. I want to give you a couple of housekeeping announcements. I'm fortunate to be using the tool StreamYard, which is broadcasting this to my YouTube channel, my Facebook page at Tisha Marie Enterprises, my business page, and also on LinkedIn. So if you have a comment during this broadcast, make sure to throw that in the chat box so I can reply to you real time and we can get this conversation started. I forgot to put my little ticker up here, so give me a second. Let me throw that up here. There it is. There it is. So today we're talking about how to get over the G word. And that G word that I want to share with you all today is the G word guilt. So a lot of us have been feeling a little guilty. I've actually spoken to a handful of people just through direct messages and even through virtual lattes that they are feeling this. They're totally feeling that guilt. Parent guilt, business guilt, spouse guilt, whatever that is. And I want to share with you a couple of things that has really helped me because I too myself have felt that way multiple times throughout this pandemic. More recently, just this last weekend. So my daughter is Ellie. She is 8 years old and she is all digital schooling, which as someone who is a mom entrepreneur, who's also working at building a business and working with clients, it's very, very hard to kind of switch hats all the time. There's a lot of distractions going on. There's a lot of interruptions going on. And last week she kept asking me for help. And I was like, yes, we'll get to this. We'll get to this. Yes, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And finally it got to Saturday and she's like, my homework is due today. And I asked her, I'm like, Ellie, how much homework do we have to do? And she tells me she has 6, count that, 6 assignments that she has to do by 11:59 p.m. that night. So I missed my son's soccer game and I immediately went into 3rd grade homework mode because that's what we had to do. We had to get this done. But I remember feeling this word, and my good friend, we were on the soccer fields together just over the weekend watching our sons. They play on the same soccer fields and they were getting ready to try out for another team. And she used this word with me and it really sat on my heart a little bit. She said, Tisha, I'm feeling very negligent. And that's a really dark word. I know that word, negligent. I know that word, neglect. I've had that word pop up into my life a lot where I'm either putting my all into my business or I'm putting my all into my kids and something is suffering. And at this point, when my daughter comes to me and says 6 hours worth of homework, I'm like, okay, I neglected to work with you on this during the week. And now it's become this mountain, this pile of homework that we need to get through. And let me tell you, 6 hours of 3rd grade writing assignments is extremely painful. We got through it, but I was exhausted by the end of it. All right, so Dwight, thank you so much. He's saying, I'll be the first to say hi. Awesome, thank you for tuning in. Dwight was actually watching in on yesterday's live stream as well. So thank you again for being here. Day 2, here we go. Today we're talking about getting over the G word, as I was sharing, and the G word being guilt, and how so many of us feel that way. We feel that way. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Yes, great topic today. I talk a lot, if you are catching up with me on my Friday combo and my Camrys, a lot of the things that I share really are things that I'm going through personally and professionally. So you know that it's real time. It's definitely real time because I'm dealing with it. So as I was sharing, my daughter and I were doing these 6 hours of homework on Saturday because she kept asking me during the week to help her. And we kept putting it off, kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And on Saturday, it was like, I was so exhausted by the end, not because I can't do 3rd grade writing assignments, because it is mentally, physically, emotionally draining. And I know she felt that too. So I'm hearing a lot of you saying that you feel like you're neglecting some of those priorities. You feel like, you know, your head's not on straight. I mean, we're still in this middle of this pandemic. We're still trying to figure all of this out. And we've been thrown more responsibility than we ever have before. So I want to offer up some tips and some tricks of what's helped me. And hopefully this will also help you too as you're moving ahead. So this first thing I want to share with you is, these are the tips. You've got to show yourself some grace. Okay. As I shared, we've been given such a mountain of responsibilities, and it's a lot to take on. So show yourself some grace. You can get through this, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And the other thing, I want you to schedule those priorities out. We always talk about prioritize your schedule. No, you should really be scheduling your priorities. So what are those priorities for you that you need to keep hitting every day or every other day or whatever that may be? So for me, health is really important. My faith is really important. My family is really important. I sit with my family every single night for dinner, and that is huge for me. It means that I'm able to take that break, to put everything aside and be with them in that moment. So on my Casual Convo Friday, Michelle might have listened to this before. On Casual Convo Friday, we had a great guest on, Dr. Alice Kirby. She's a therapist out of San Diego. And one thing that she said to me really stuck out. The thing that she said was that a lot of times we overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in 30 days. And she gave this really simple principle of having this three task mentality, this 3 priorities mentality. Like, what do you need to get done? Those 3 things that you absolutely positively need to get done to move you ahead, but you're not overwhelming yourself to the point of you can't do it, you don't want to do it, you don't want to get back up. So what are 3 things that you can put on your to-do list and get done and still have time for those priorities? So again, my priorities, like I mentioned, health, family, faith, those things are super important to me. So I really want to make sure that I'm incorporating those into my day. If your first priority and your second priority and your third priority is work, 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 which I've heard some people say, then you need to take a step back and really dive in and figure out what are those priorities for you. Because here's the hint. It shouldn't all be about work either. All right, the other thing, I want you to ask for help. And I know this is super hard for a lot of us. Asking for help is hard, but asking for help is what helps us not to feel like we're neglecting those priorities. If we need help, you've got to be willing to ask for it. And let me tell you, people will be willing to help you, but you've got to take that step in asking them first. And the next thing I want to share is that you need to be present in the moment. And I've shared this a lot. There was a gentleman, I did a convo in my Camry on Friday, and shout out to my good friend, Greg Brenner. He did this great post on what he sucks at. And I was so inspired that I was like, I'm going to use this for my convo and my Camry material, because I want to talk about what do you suck at? Because every single one of us sucks at something. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You suck at something. You're not perfect at everything you do. And as I mentioned, perfection is highly overrated. So what was he saying? He was telling me, this gentleman that commented, that he really, really sucked at self-care. He really, really sucked at setting aside the time to spend on himself. And that is one thing that I really, really want to encourage you to not suck at, because self-care is something that we all need. I know when I feel super tired and drained, I'm dead to the world. I'm taking a bath and then I'm going to bed at like 7:30 p.m. and I am gone. I am gone. Nobody can bother me. Nobody can talk to me because I'm just mentally, physically drained and I cannot do it. I can't even lift my finger, right? So you don't want to get to that point. And how you don't get to that point is making sure that you are adding some self-care back into your day, self-care back into your world. So I'm going to give you a couple of little things that I use, and you guys will probably laugh at this, but I'm going to show you my favorite tool. You ready? Yes. How many of you remember what this is? Of course, it's an iPad, probably from the 80s. Actually, no, it's an iPad or iPod. It's not even an iPad. It's an iPod. But I found this in my old junk drawer, and I charged it. I actually had to go buy myself a new charger because the other one was just old and outdated. And when I got this is actually, I set myself up to just take walks every single morning. It's definitely become my calmer, my stressor, my stress reliever. And I don't bring my phone. And a lot of people are like, well, can't you be listening to podcasts? What about making calls? I see so many people they're on their phone and they're trying to walk. And I'm like, How is that calming to you? Talking on the phone and trying to walk and trying to keep your head down so you don't bump into things. So I take my little iPod, my 80s iPod, because nobody can bother me, and that time is sacred to me. That time is a time that I utilize for myself, and it's okay. It is so okay to be selfish if that is what's helping you add some self-care back into your day so that you can take care of the things that you really need to take care of. The other thing I got, and I think everybody should have one of these. You ready for it? It's this right here. See it? You can buy this at the Dollar Tree, actually. I think I'm going to buy them in bulk. Some of you might have even had them if you were at my spa day. But this whole offline sleep mask, I can't sleep without a sleep mask. I like it pretty dark in the room. But this is really good reminder that when you're offline, you're offline. You're offline. Nobody should be able to bother you, unless immediate family, but nobody should be able to bother you when you're present in the moment and you're offline. It's why I get so frustrated when people are taking vacations, but yet they're posting all their vacation pics and they're showing what they're eating for dinner, and then they're going live and all this. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you not spending time with the people that matter, that are right there in front of you, doing the things that you should be doing with them? Why are you so concerned about what everybody else thinks? Your social media will be there when you get back. Trust me, it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's increasing. So make sure that you're taking the time to go offline and ditch all of the social media and ditch the phone and ditch the computer and ditch all the technology so that you can come back, relieve that guilt, not have that neglect mentality that you're neglecting your family, your kids, your work, your whatever it is, and just breathe a little bit. Remember that first one that we talked about was showing yourself some grace. So thank you, Michael, listening to some self-care right now. Awesome. Of course, Michelle. And then if anybody is watching this replay, I would love to hear from you too. So make sure that you still add those comments in, because I do go back in the next day and add more replies and so forth. So I want to give a big shout out. I am actually going to be on a live stream next Wednesday with Mary Brandt. She has a live stream called Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs, and this is going live next Wednesday, September 9th at 11:30 Pacific time. So make sure to catch that. She live streams on her Facebook as well as her LinkedIn Live, and we'll be doing that together. The other thing is, if you haven't yet visited Happy Neighborhood Project, I'm one of the co-hosts here in Phoenix, and we do this every Thursday morning at 11, and you can literally just register. It's free to attend. They are growing so rapidly because of COVID. In fact, they wanted to challenge people to still be happy and to still do business and to still refer to each other. So they have 30 plus chapters all around the country meeting virtually. So you don't even need to leave your home. You could just jump on Zoom and meet some really awesome people who are in business that also want to be your support system and also want to help you build your business. So happyneighborhoodproject.com is the website for that if you want to check that out. So, all right, so we talked about how to get over the G word. We also talked about my tips. Don't forget my handy dandy tools. I'm telling you, if you have one of these babies shoved in one of your junk drawers, I highly recommend you pull it out and start using it, because it's so amazing when you can go on a walk and not be distracted by social media, phone calls, emails, messages, and actually just tune all of that out. The other thing I shared with you, of course, my little handy dandy offline kit, or my mask. Highly recommend everyone gets one of these, because hell, it already tells you what I'm doing. I'm offline, so you can't bother me. All right. So that's it. Tune in tomorrow at 4:45. I'm going live again here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, so you can catch it whenever you can make it. We're going to be having a special guest come on board with me tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that. And have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Live at 4:45. My name is Tisha, and my hashtag is Tisha Talks if you want to follow that along for more content, more videos, and so forth. All right, have a great one. Bye.